Happy Saturday morning. It's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead. We're going to get right to it. Caleb is not paying attention, so I wanted to bring him in. We're actually loading in the gate here at Monmouth Park. First race here on a pretty nice card. I haven't looked at too much outside of the first couple races in the last few races, so the middle's kind of a mystery to me. But I do have a little pick 3 going here. I'm singling this 4. This Jonathan Thomas, Sammy Camacho horse, Regal Realm. Playing a little pick 3 with the 4, the 2, 6, 7 in the next race, and then trying to beat the Critical Way in the third race with the 1 and the 3 here. So as they're loading in here, Caleb, but you look at anything at Monmouth, or you're basically just
no? There's enough other racing between Saratoga and Del Mar that the Monmouth undercard is going to be a pass for me. Wow. And honestly, maybe the Monmouth card in general, just because I think all the stakes races look really chalky.
I actually didn't look. Is there a cross country this week?
I would have to think there is, but I don't know what races. Yeah, there is. I have it on. It's the highly motivated race. I don't know where that's running. It's not Saratoga. It must be Monmouth.
Oh yeah, so it's the Monmouth Cup, the Connaught Cup, which is I think at Woodbine.
Yeah, that's a YC Charles Spite, and that's a good race. There's a good card at Woodbine today.
United Nations, the Haskell, and the Caress.
That's a nice. I'll probably play that. That's a really nice sequence. They got some big fields, so that might be my Monmouth fix.
Especially so I could single Super Sensational on that last leg.
Are you singling Super Sensational?
I don't know. I gotta look at the race again.
I looked at the Crest again and added like 3 more horses since Thursday, and I've come to realize I don't have a feel for that race at all.
I wish Mark was here because I would love to just dunk on him again for that Robin Sparkles pick. But I think he's getting settled in on track. It looks like my 4 did not make the lead, and they're not going particularly fast.
It looks really slow, doesn't it? 25?
Yeah, he's got a stranglehold on this 4, which I never like to see, but we'll see what happens here. I think that oh man, what horse is that in the outside? The 8, the favorite. Oh yeah, Brad mentioning mandatory payout at Woodbine for the pick 6. I believe I told Caleb this last night, and he's like, "Why are you the way you are?" Oh come on, kick on 4.
We'll switch leads, and he's gone. Always gonna lug in.
Don't hit the rail. No, what? Oh God, you got to be kidding me.
That's a tough one. I thought you were gone.
Fucking Monmouth. But I don't even know who's the 3 horse. Some Flow, great. Into the coffee they go. But yeah, so I know you were kind of focused on Saratoga today. We were talking briefly about this early, and I mean, that's some shit, isn't it?
Yeah, the early is certainly not the bet. And when we were talking on Thursday, I know we were saying like, like the Saratoga card is overall kind of like meh. But I think that there's a lot of value, I think, in the middle and the late part of the card. But this early, just with, probably a big single in the second race and then Secret Oath and Nest kind of rounding out the end of that pick 5. Even with this kind of calamity factor first race with a bunch of 2-year-olds, it seems like it's not the best sequence to approach horizontally unless you really have a strong opinion somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of interested in this 9 horse, but then I remembered the way the other Joseph O'Brien horse ran. But I mean, this is routing, this isn't sprinting, so maybe you get something different. I don't know. These 2-year-old races, when they start going long, I hate taking first-time starters in that race, and I don't know if that's just a dirt thing, or if you kind of mention you kind of look at turf the same way. I mean, I think Chad's got the 7 activist investing, which is just the most Klarovich name fucking possible. And it's gonna be 9 to 5 on the morning line. We're an hour from first post, so we probably don't have a ton of money in there yet. But what are we seeing live? 9 to 5. Yeah. So
Yeah, and I mean, I don't have any real opinions in this race. I thought that the two, what I assume are the two favorites, although I don't have lines turned on. The 5 and the 7 looked pretty good. So those are currently your top two choices. And I guess something you kind of mentioned is, I know we mentioned this in chat. I don't think we really talked about it, but does it kind of feel like the Europeans, or at least the Europeans that come over, have just not really been all that good so far this year? We look back at the Belmont Derby, the Belmont Oaks, and they were probably supposed to win at least one of those races, if not both. And a lot of their big name horses just didn't run. We saw it again yesterday with the 4 horse in the first race. I forget the name. Who was keeping a really, really good company in Europe, and then just had no excuse. The race fell apart and just came up flat in the lane. Do we think that maybe they're not as good as years past? Or are they just not, sending over the best Euros? Do they just not handle our style of racing randomly all of a sudden? I mean, any thoughts?
well, I mean, if we're going to be honest, Classic Causeway won that race, so I think our American horses also weren't handling the turf. So yeah, I don't know. It's always weird because when we send horses over to Europe, I feel like we send like Wesley is sending his horses. You know what I mean? But the other way around, we usually get like that B or C tier type horses, and so I think that's just what we got this year. Although some of those horses that did ship over, I mean, ran decently in the Derby, and we're running in some big races with some nice company. So I mean, we looked really foolish that week because I think all three of us were just like, oh, all the Euros, and then I
Yeah.
think we were like a little bit of Tis the Bomb, and then it's just like, oh, let's get boomed by the other McPeak. But yeah, you know what's funny is I do want to revisit something. I know Jay's already jumping in here. He's talking about Jack Christopher being a fragile horse. Third off a layoff, 2 big races, time to bet against. You know, on stream, I was all about Jack Christopher. I did also talk about Cyberknife, and I know Caleb, you just harassed me relentlessly about that even after the stream. But I was like, yeah, Jack Christopher, he's gonna be it. Like, rethinking about this and just revisiting the PPs, looking at other products. I mean, I have a hard time getting around using just Taiba and just not saying using Jack Christopher. And I think that's kind of how you saw it too, right, Caleb?
Yeah, that's exactly how I saw it. And, I've changed opinions since Thursday, but that's not one that I've changed. And Jack Christopher might really just be the best horse in training right now. I mean, it's quite possible that he's only 3, so I'm not really sure that he would go up against Flightline Life is Good anytime soon. But maybe he will be the best horse. But at this stage, I just don't think I can bet him at the price he's going to be, coming off of, like Jay said, 2 monster efforts. I mean, he ran a -4 last on Thoroughgraph figures, which is just astronomically big for a horse that's really lightly raced. And just I think it's much more likely that effort's going to set him back, as opposed to him kind of repeating that while stretching out to 9 furlongs. So, like I said, it feels dirty, but I think Taiba is the play. So that'll be my single through the cross country pick 5.
Yeah, someone asking about do we know why early voting didn't show up here? I still think that there's that stigma about was it Haskell Travers?
Haskell Travers.
Yeah, and they want to win the Travers with early voting. Like that's where they want to go. Or at least they want to try and win the Travers with early voting. So I think the plan was Jim Dandy.
That's what I heard. Jim Dandy. Then, depending how he comes out of that, maybe Travers.
Yeah, and Jim Dandy's next week, so we'll be talking about early voting, I believe, this next coming week. But yeah, I don't know. I think and every product type, it just like jumps off the page. I still contend that I think Cyberknife might be worth a look here, but I think it's going to be more of an underneath type. I don't see how Taiba and Jack Christopher run 1-2. So I was talking about this to somebody else, and so I think there might be value using Taiba and then using a couple other horses underneath and just tossing Jack Christopher. I agree with you, Caleb. I think Jack Christopher might just be the best horse. I just don't think that this is the right distance. If this was a mile race, maybe I'd be more interested in, but that I don't know. I just don't. That extra furlong I think is going to be real tough for him to get.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it as well. I mean, I think they probably do run 1-2, but but I'm not sure. I think that speaks more to the quality of the rest of the field than it does anything about them.
Yeah, so we're kind of like I said talking more here in this early at Saratoga, but yeah, and then this second race is just kind of another weird field. Yeah, I just I didn't have a great feeling. Like the 7 is 8-5 in the book, and is going to be way shorter because Mark is going to see JJ up for Tom Morley and is probably just going to go put his entire like year's salary on this horse to win. So, yeah, that's just not. It's just not really a sequence I'm interested in betting. And I just kept on going through, and it just looked like short price after short price. And normally, if there's a ton of short price favorites, like I like playing those sequences, but like if you can't find a way around them, it's just a way to burn money, especially with this freaking fifth race. I mean, this is what we've been seeing as of late at Nairo with these dirt races. Turf races have been nice and full, but these dirt races, man, they've just been tough. We didn't have much in the way of weather or scratches. I was actually a little excited because I thought I think early talks were we were going to get some rain here. So I was like, great, like we're going to get a bunch of dirt and things wash off the turf. We're going to have stuff to talk about, but no, it's going to be a beautiful day. It's kind of hot.
It's hot apparently.
Yeah, but we have a full field here. But I mean, anything here in this late at Saratoga that kind of you change your mind on?
As opposed, I think the only thing we really covered on Thursday was the grass, and my only kind of opinions there is that I'm less confident than I was initially. I wasn't even confident in the first place. I just don't have a good feel for the race. I think the race goes to an off the pace runner, so I'm still going to be against Mark's shitty pick of Robin Sparkles, and also probably taking a shot against Caravel once again. Although she really isn't historically a need the lead type. I mean, she won this race last year from the rail off the pace, but I just don't have confidence Gaffleon can work out a trip with the way he's been riding. So probably taking a shot there, but there's not like one particular horse that I think I really want to take a shot against with. I mean, I think I said the 5 and the 7 were my picks on Thursday, Lady Edith and Toby's Heart. I still think they both look good in here. I also threw in Star Divine, Miss J. McKay, and then even a little sprinkling on the Mark Cassie horse, Super Sensational, because I'm not going to let that horse, the fastest horse, on figures anyway, albeit on dirt, I'm not going to let that horse beat me when he clearly does handle the turf. She handles the turf. So I'm going to be spread here, and I don't really have a good opinion, but I'm going to try to get around Caravel, I think.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, IRAD ran. No, was it IRAD or is it? Yeah, it was IRAD. IRAD rode this horse last year for his win, or for her win, excuse me. And interesting that he shows up on Miss J. McKay. I know Gaff has been riding this horse and won a grade 3, so maybe they're just sticking with the hot hand. But there's something a little interesting bit of trivia there. Yeah, I still really like the 8. Super Sensational, but yeah, it's going to be. I think it's an interesting race. It's part of the cross country. Maybe we can look at that cross country a little bit and just kind of relook at that. I did see Jay. He says that he likes something in race 5 here at Monmouth. You got a mile claiming race on the turf. He says he likes the 5, 8, 9, and 13, and the lowest morning line in that group is 10-1. So he likes some prices in this race. Looks like he likes the 5 Call Bros, the 8 Cabinet Pick, the 9 You Should Be So Lucky, and the 13 Minnesota Lucky. Minnesota Lucky, I believe, won some nice races in at Canterbury, if I remember correctly. But
Looks like a lot of speed in the race. Big field, cheap claimers. It sounds like a good race to go price on him.
I'm trying to find my other screen here. Monmouth race 5. Let's pull this up and go to optics. If it loads. If it loads. There we go. Yeah, interestingly, optics doesn't really show it as a super contested pace. Maybe. It does like the 8 though. So that's a cabinet pick. Looks to be a pretty strong contender there in optics. The 11 unleveraged for Paco Lopez also looks pretty good, as well as the 4 umbrage. So yeah, I mean, it might be a good spot to pick some prices up.
The 4 looks really good on time form also. And 15-1. I mean, that last race came back pretty fast.
Yeah, kind of. It's only a slight cutback, so yeah, interesting. I mean, like on optics, the 4 pops out pretty big too. So Jay, if you're looking for price, maybe you include that 4 a little bit too. Let's take a look here. What we got? How much time we got here till Monmouth? We still got 9 minutes. Looks like a nice day there at Monmouth. That's one of the tracks I do want to go to eventually. I know a bunch of our East Coast guys say it's a pretty nice track to go to. So it looks beautiful, but it's also in New Jersey, and if there's anything I know about New Jersey, it's people from New Jersey like to steal things. So. So what are you looking at here early? What are you looking to play? What's going to be your first play here, Caleb? Are you going to wait till the middle part of the card? Are you going to be disciplined, or do you already have an early pick 5 keyed in that you said you weren't going to play?
I'm probably going to play a real cheap early pick 5, just because it'll hopefully get me some action for a couple of races. But yeah, I mean, I guess kind of my thinking is I think the 7's basically a free square in the second race. He could lose, but I don't know who would beat him, and I'm not going to try. And I think the 3rd race is probably where at Saratoga, obviously, where I think is I might try to find a little bit of a price horse. I think that the likely favorites are going to be the 6 and the 7. The 7 actually is 6-1, but I sort of think he's going to take a lot more money than that. And the 6 is your 7-5, pretty heavy favorite off that last out win. But I'm not really interested in going there. I'm going to try to get around some of those horses, and I'm using the 1, the 2, and the 3. I think the 1 actually fits very well on Thoroughgraph, is moving up from state bred into open company, but has really done nothing wrong. So I do like the 1. The 2, I think, is likely the quickest out of all of these, even though she's certainly on the cheaper side. I think getting Jose Gomez up, getting the 5-pound weight break. This horse is quick, and Maury's excellent first off the claim, so I'm giving her a shot. And then the 3 horse, I don't really like 7-2, but this filly is supposed to be pretty nice. So with the way Size has been riding as well, it's tough to leave him off too many tickets. So I think she might really step forward off that second start, off the layoff. So I'm going to try to beat the outside horses here, including Irad's horse, who I don't really give any shot to with this 4. So yeah, I'm going to try to get around them, and then in the 4th race, there's a trouble horse that's probably going to get bet off the board, but who I do think is a very likely winner. That's the number 3, Wings Like Eagles. So this is a horse that had a brutal trip last time out. I mean, comes out 12 lengths last, it's pretty much out of contact with the field, and then tries to duck outside, has no room, goes inside, has to steady, just finishing strong late, but a horrible trip. So I think everybody's going to see that trouble. This horse is going to be almost certainly your favorite, I would think. But the horse should win. I mean, the horse really should win this race. So I'm going to have most of the money going through that 3 horse as well. And that's about it. Obviously nothing creative to say. The more I looked at the CCA Oaks, I'm coming around a little bit on Secret Oath just because I think that she probably is the second most likely winner, but I think her odds of winning relative to Nests aren't that different compared to what their prices are going to be. Everything I've heard on Twitter, everything I've seen in YouTube and podcast and whatever else. I mean, the whole world seems to be on Nest, and I'm just not convinced that she's that much better than Secret Oath. And if you're going to give me 4-5 on Nest and 9-5 on Secret Oath, then twice the price or whatever, I'll take Secret Oath. So I'm going to probably end up going to her instead, just from a value angle. I think it's a chalky sequence, and I don't think that Nest is really that much better.
Sixer asking if we're looking more at Monmouth or Saratoga today. Caleb, how much do you love Monmouth?
I don't care for Monmouth. It can go out there and do its thing. I'll play the cross country, like we said, which has, I think, 2 or 3 Monmouth races in it. And then, I don't know if they have an all stakes pick 5 at Monmouth. I'm assuming they probably do, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I might take a shot at that, but that'll be the extent of my focus. I'm not playing the undercard.
Yeah, I pulled up that that fourth race. Yeah, that fourth race on the one with the wings like eagles that you were talking about. There's a note on the 1 horse. 2 back had trouble, and then the last race was basically finished 3rd in a blanket finish. So that, I mean, I tend to. Excuse me.
Bless.
Thank you. But I tend to think that if the horse is coming up in a blanket finish, it finishes a little bit better than it probably looks. The fig looks pretty strong, so I don't hate the 1 there too. But yeah, the 3. I mean, the note is trouble basically on that one. So I'm sure that one's going to get hammered.
The only other thing I'd probably mention on that race, and I see your point with the 1, and kind of what leads me to bring it up, is there's no real speed in the race. I mean, you got the 2 horse switching to dirt and stretching out. I mean, is bred to be a good runner, but it's probably, not really sure what that horse is going to do. So I did give a glance to the 8, who obviously was ridden pretty poorly last time out, just kind of going way too fast. But, if this horse does get out there and get loose, we have seen speed doing better on the inner lately. We got a wire-to-wire winner yesterday with the Todd Pletcher horse at like 19 to 1 or whatever he was. So I wouldn't totally sleep on this 8, who I do have on a small ticket, but I think between the 3, the 4, and the 6, I think one of those horses is probably your winner. More than likely the 3, or your 1 perhaps.
Thank you for the perhaps.
I don't have him anywhere, but I just think she's had enough chances for me.
Jay's looks like I think he's got a little pick 3 here. I think is that Monmouth, Jay? I think that's Monmouth, right? Because that was where he was talking about the prices.
Yeah, those are his price horses, it looks like.
So I like the single. He's trying to single into 5, 6, 7. He's trying to single into the 2 Agent Creed, I think, in race 7. Who do you say? He said Society Stinks. Is that this race? No, it's not this race. Which race is Society in?
That's the Haskell. Not the Haskell, the shit, we were just talking about it. The Saratoga race, I think.
Oh, Saratoga race.
CCA Oaks, yeah. The 2 horse, the cheap speed.
Yeah. Yeah. I had marked down just like, hey, you got speed in that one, but I don't know what's gonna happen there. I think Nest wins that race so many times more than Secret Oath, but I have been wrong before. I saw they're on the track at Monmouth here.
You're gonna double.
Am I going to run back to double? I kind of feel like I need to now. Which is like always my problem is I cap these races and then Like I said, I was against the favorites in the next race, so I guess I'll fire back the double here. To, I hate when like the skinny part of your double or your sequence gets blown up, and
Yeah,
then
that is always frustrating.
now you're firing like a smaller ticket into with like just like let I don't know. I'm just still pissed at that four hung. So what do we got here? 2 6 7 1 3. Okay. Yeah, I'm just playing 2 6 7 here into the 1 3. The 2 is 9 to 5, but yeah, the doubles are pretty healthy. So they it looks like the 5 next race is going to be your favorites, but I mean still paying $18 for 2, so it's not that bad. Um, Jimmy Two Eyes asking if we put any stock in society outworking Clairiere in the mornings.
Um, Not really. Well, I mean, a little. I mean, I put more stock in the fact that it's a lone speed horse, and than I do the fact that she's outworked Clairiere in the morning. And kind of, I haven't watched the works. I mean, just judging off the reports, it looks like they work evenly. So, I don't think it's going to change my opinion here. She was kind of life or death to get that last race last time. Waters are a lot deeper here.
Jay likes the looks like he likes the 8 here at Monmouth in the second. Maybe try and exact a play to key this one. I looked at this 8, and it was like mostly just because of the fact that I mean we're looking at 2-year-olds, and I like playing horses that have run. Looked like there was a little bit of trouble. Was bumped at the start. I don't know if it was noted on optics, but I like the optics notes. Like there, it's a little bit more. Well, it's a lot more expensive outside of just getting the grid. But sometimes some of those green keywords definitely pay off. Oh, they're hustling this one.
Who'd you have here, Josh?
I have the 2, the 6, and the 7, I believe. Yeah, 2 6 7.
I feel like I always remember Haskell Day, like at Monmouth, having like the most souped up track with the goldest rail, just like year after year. I'll never forget the authentic New York traffic race where New York traffic looked like he had him dead to rights, and authentic just kept finding more. I don't know if that's how the track plays routinely or not because I don't really play Monmouth, but
Looks like 1 and 3 are kind of drawing off here.
3 is going to be tough from here. It looks, but the 7's got around the outside. Is that 27-1
Yep, that's my 7.
under wraps? Holy shit!
The jock's gonna fall off, isn't he?
27-1, making it look easy. Nice
All
pick.
right. Well, now I need the 1 or the 3 next race. Now that you know what, that fucking makes that 4 sting even more. Mother effer.
Yeah, but imagine if you wouldn't have played back the double. You'd be pissed.
Yeah. So funny story was yesterday. I was playing Del Mar, and I had a double from race 5 to race 6, and I got knocked out. I don't even remember who I had, but I was so mad. I just went and I took a nap. I wake up like 2 3 races later, and sure enough, I had I had used 2 horses in the 6th leg. I think one was the favorite, and the other was the 22-1 winner, the 5 horse. And I was just like, oh well, if I would have stayed up, I definitely would have played something with it. But I'd actually capped Del Mar yesterday for a tournament, and I really loved that 5 for a tournament. And then I didn't enter anything except for a private tournament that we were going to play, and then nobody joined. So it ended up not going off. Only me and friend of the show, Jay, Mr. Jeej. It was just me and him, so it didn't go off. And of course, I would have had that horse. So I'm just like, I couldn't catch a fucking break yesterday. But yeah, 27-1, Freedom Road. And I think I'm going to have some nice little will pays. And as usual, I'm going to be mad I didn't play this for more. But
Crazy that horse went off 27-1. I mean, I guess I don't play Monmouth, but I'm just like, where'd the money go? I guess the Pletcher probably took a beating, I'm guessing.
yeah.
But wow.
Well, the
Actually, he didn't. He went off 6-1.
if the one, so I got a $2 double only to the 1 and the 3. The $2 double to the 1 pays $451,
Ooh.
and to the 3 pays $277. So I will be happy with either of those. The favorite is paying $224, so it looks
You
like
almost wish you threw in the favorite for $2 now, don't
yeah. Now, right? It's just like
you aren't expecting that, I guess. I don't blame you.
no, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, 27-1, man. That's nice. Why do I even like that horse?
I do like your 3 at Proven Strategies. I think that horse looks good. Would love to see him kind of set off the pace. I know he showed speed at a mile, but I think off the pace is the way he wins this race here. But you know me, anytime I find a horse that has the word night in it, I got to bet him. So 1 for 38, yeah. Constant night. Today is your day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. The horse was only 6-1 in the book, and it went off at 27-1.
I pulled the form early, and I had Rosario listed up. That can't be right, though. I'm assuming they must have updated that.
Yeah, it says Hector Diaz on mine, and I pulled that up before. But
I got the earlies from like Wednesday still.
Yeah, I know. I like the Kelly Breen. I mean, the Kelly Breen wins ton, and then I use the 6, the Pratt Pletcher horse. Like, I am really struggling to remember why I like the 7 horse.
I mean, the works look respectable. Yeah, the pedigree is decent. Win early. I mean, Sacco's a fine trainer. It's just a spread race where you spread to the logicals, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was trying to make a case for, just with the rest of the horses that are kind of in here. There wasn't a ton of like win early pedigree. Malibu Moon is somewhat respectable at 13%, and also Not for Love also hitting at 13%. So I was just trying to get something there, but nice. Foxhound saying that you're looking at the same early as I am, Caleb.
Yeah, that must be it, because it's it's wrong on a lot of these jockey assignments are way off. I'm like, damn, they let Rosario go off at 27-1 at Monmouth, but like,
oh man, yeah. So I mean, hey, Montauk Daddy, if we get some Noda, if he could put that, what is it, that wave therapy thing that he's like huge on, put that machine on the horse. Extra, right. Do what he does, and get this horse to go off. Foxhound saying you will not abide this Hector Diaz Jr. slander. Is that a Tampa jock?
I don't know.
I mean, Monmouth is basically Tampa,
it's like summer Tampa,
summer Tampa, yeah. So Foxhound would be just right at home there at Monmouth. Like I said, I haven't been there. I want to check it out at some point. Maybe probably for like a contest or something. I think it'd be fun to go.
It'd be nice to go. Like, I feel like Haskell Day would be a mess, but it'd be nice to go for like Pegasus Day or something, like a decent day, of racing. But like, get some good weather before it gets miserably hot. I think it'd be fun.
All right, so let's. I was talking to Chase, so I recorded a podcast with him earlier today for Del Mar tomorrow, and I don't know what it is, but now like doing these shows, like I've always been a 2 monitor person, and I've always been like most of the time I don't even use the second monitor. Now I'm like, dude, I need a 3rd monitor and I need a TV, because I feel like I got optics up on one thing, I got obviously I'm sharing the PPs, and that takes up a whole screen. I'm trying to look at my ADW to get bets in. I'm trying to see how many minutes to post I got. I need to stream somewhere. It's just like, man, and it's funny. it's funny because like right behind me, I actually have another 27-inch monitor. I just I don't have space to put it anywhere. So, and I feel like that's just like I don't know, that's extra having three monitors. I'm
It
gonna be
is
like,
extra, but I bought for it, and it's a game changer.
yeah, I'm gonna be like
Like
Capone.
for 90% of the time you don't need it, but the 10% of the time you do. Like having, I got the form up here. I have, I got my Brisnet up on my main monitor, then I have you up on one, and then I have whatever secondary product I have on the third monitor, whether it's optics or Thorograph or Timeform and Works and whatever else. And you can kind of switch those out to back and forth to ADW or split the screen. So it's extra as hell, but it is nice.
I love. I also love the track now. I can't just bring my iPad or laptop. I need both of them. So I have two screens. So I got like my iPad up on one. I'm scrolling. I got my laptop in front of me doing the other. So, oh look at Fox on saying his ROI dropped 20% when he went from 3 to 2 monitors. I was actually thinking about doing the third monitor, doing the vertical.
I thought about doing that because I had some limited desk space and I didn't like it. So I switched back to horizontal and just made it work.
So I do side IT work for a family business, friend of the family's, and he was asking if he could do an ultra wide that way. And I was like, dude, what are you like unrolling a scroll or something? Like, what do you need? What do you need an ultra wide to go vertically for? Like, you're gonna have to go like this to see the top of it. Like, oh man. But the heart wants what the heart wants.
Yeah, mine's an ultra wide, and I tried that. Well, yeah, I guess it is. It's 27, but still. But yeah, it doesn't work. I didn't like it tall. You're crazy if you put that thing tall vertically.
Oh, I was like, I keep on hearing these beeps, but this is writer Dave going on about. I don't know what he's going on about there. So what's your ticket looking like here for the early? You got it plugged in yet, or you still
At Saratoga?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played basically essentially a caveman with a little bit of saber in the first leg and then a press ticket. So in the first leg, I'm using the 5 and 7 on kind of my main ticket, Coach Petro and Activist Investing. Those are the horses with kind of the best works coming in. They have good turf pedigree, good connections. I'm not really overthinking that one. I basically bought the rest of the field as what you could think of as a C, just like on a saver ticket, essentially. If it's not the 5 or 7, I truthfully don't know who wins. I'm not enamored with this 9, the European horse. Probably the worst C for me to eat would be him, but I kind of bought the rest of the field. The second race, ice cold single to the 7. I don't think that horse is going to get beat. In the third race, I use the 1 and the 3 the most with a little bit of the 2. So the 1 and 3 my main play with the 2 kind of like a B horse for me, just in case that horse does end up getting loose. In the fourth race, I have most of my money going through that 3 Wings Like Eagles, who had the troubled trip. I do think that horse is going to be overbet. I think she wins, but I do think she'll be overbet. Generally, when you see a comment line that's like brutal trip or nightmare trip, like people just like gravitate to that shit. So this is twice the horse kind of whiffed the break, and some horses just aren't that sharp or aren't that mentally ready yet. So I do have some fear this horse might get overbet. And the 4 horse also had a little bit of trouble coming out of that common race and has every right to improve in her second career start. I think that horse might get a little overlooked. So I'm using the 3 and the 4 similarly. And then I'm going to use the 6 and the 8 as well on a couple smaller tickets. The 6, I'm just a little kind of paying the Chad Brown tax, although I don't really love this horse. She does seem like she should be better on the turf. And then the 8 might be the only leader. Then the 5th race, I'm having most of my money go through Secret Oath. And my press ticket all through Secret Oath. I have one small ticket with Nest, but Secret Oath is my play.
Okay. I did not see that coming. You really flipped on that. I thought you were all about Nest.
I kind of was, but yeah, it's more so looking at the sequence and the whole is, if Wings Like Eagles wins, which I think he does, if Brazilianaire wins, which I think that he does, and if one of the more logical first-time starters win, which I think that the 5 or the 7 probably do, it kind of, I just don't think the value's there for me to slam Nest, and I think she's going to be an underlay relative to my opinion of her chances to win. I mean, I kind of watched some of the replays. Secret Oath dusted her 2 back, and I don't know if maybe Secret Oath just like has this like thing running against the boys. I mean, maybe she gets like intimidated, or I don't know what it is, but like she doesn't seem to be the same horse against the boys as she is the girls, and it doesn't seem like it's a distance thing. It doesn't seem like it's a speed figures thing. I mean, Secret Oath has had some really really wide trips, which maybe compromised her in a couple of those starts. But I just don't think Nest is twice as likely to win a Secret Oath, and I think that's how they're going to get bet.
Yeah, I'm trying to go into the lab here real quick and see if there's anything I can do. Um, but I kind of, like I said, I kind of see this really chalky. So I'm trying to just like keep looking at this first race and see. I can make a case for any of these long shots. Um, how's the 7 been working? Was there any standouts on the work reports or anything like that in
Five
that
and
first
seven
race?
are both DRF given both B pluses, so
Mm.
those are probably your work sources. I mean, obviously Klarovich, Chad Brown, Irad. I mean, there's nothing crazy there. And then Gaffley owns one for 25, so it is a little tougher for me to go to this 5 horse. And Cox is generally a guy that he's good at everything, but he's a lot better second time out as opposed to first time out. But this horse, has been working well, and just sort of figures to be the second most likely winner in here to me. So could be like a B kind of a horse, but I just use 5 and 7 equally, and the rest of them are all kind of on a saver ticket. I'm trying to see, who are they betting over there anyway with 20 minutes to post. Yeah, so they're betting the 7, but nobody's really getting slammed. I don't think if this 7 was a They New horse, this would probably be 6-5 in this field. But Ports is probably the best, but apparently not getting bet like she's a monster anyway. But see, Swords, it feels like public doesn't know where to go. I mean, the 2 is the only horse that's really kind of taken any kind of the 2 and the 8, I guess, are the horses that have taken some money relative to their morning lines. I guess that they both make some sense, but probably not horses that I'm still going to be convinced to upgrade.
Yeah, so I just kind of I think I'm gonna play a little bit of a small ticket here. I'm gonna go 5-7 in first leg. I'm gonna go 1-2-7 in the second leg, and I'm gonna press the 7. I'm gonna go 1-2-3-4 in the third leg. Press the 2 and the 4, and then I'm gonna go 1-3-3. So it's a $24. My base ticket's $24 on 50 cents, and then the way I usually play it is I just kind of press my A's. So it's kind of like an A/B ticket with A's pressed. If my A ticket hits, my A/B ticket also hits, and I usually just do a smaller base on the more spready ticket. But I'm just gonna single into Nest just because I think that she's the best horse, but I'm going to have to scale this up, I think, quite a bit in order for this to pay anything.
I mean, something that I have tried to be getting better at, but I don't do as much as I should, is when putting together a pick 5, having an idea of, if I'm right, what do I think this pays? So, I guess like what, I don't know if you've given it any thought, but any idea, if you're right, what does this pay?
So I think my press ticket, right? It's the 5-7.
I'm thinking just base, before you factor in multiples.
I mean, I guess it depends what happens in the second leg. If the 7 loses, I think that we might get a couple hundred, maybe $300-400.
Yeah.
If the 7 doesn't win, I think you were saying like you could see this paying like $75 to $100 if this kind of chalks out a little bit.
Yeah, I think if I'm right with my A's with the 5 or 7 leg 1, the 7 leg 2, and then pretty much either Nest or Secret Oath, but certainly Nest in leg 5, I think this pays probably $100. So I think that it's important to have an idea of that before going in and try to put together tickets and spread.
Yeah, but I'm gonna press this like a couple bucks. So
yeah, I got a $1.50 base.
Oh no, so my spread ticket's gonna be 50 cent base, $24, and then my press ticket's gonna be a $3 base for 24. It's also $24 ticket, so it's 2x1 by 2 by 2 by 1. But Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Brian Mueller asking, how does optics compare to other pace tools like Timeform? Basically, optics is pace only. They do have figs, but I think they're largely based off of Brisnet figs. They have other there's other like bells and whistles with it, like the notes and other stuff. I think you can usually just get away paying for the just
The
the
grid.
grid. Yeah. And I think it's usually like, what is it, $10 day pass or something, and it's like $25 for the week. It's something like that. The monthly's not much. I think the monthly's like $100, but it's not really like a great standalone product. I mean, I have been known to possibly hit a 5-figure pick five with using it standalone, but I think that sometimes you need to look at something else usually. But it's definitely a very, very good tool. I don't think a ton of people use it, which is good because it's a different edge that you can get over other people. I always say the biggest knock against DRF is that everybody uses DRF. So if I needed to guess who had who were the top 3 buyer horses last time out, I just got to look at who got bet. I don't I you know that. So I tend to look at pace more. So for me, optics is a very strong tool. Timeform I think is just as good, and I think it's a more complete product. And I think that like absolutely, if I were to start now, like brand new, I forgot everything that I knew about horse racing, but I can only keep one thing. It's like I would just keep with Timeform. I'm just too used to using Briz and optics now that every time I try to switch to Timeform, there's just like something I miss or something. I mean, it's also has other shortcomings such as trainer stats and pedigree stats and that kind of stuff, which I know just drives Caleb mad because they use ratings and stuff like that. But
Yeah. No, I think you covered it. I mean, I like optics. I know you're a big optics user, Josh. I think it's a tool to have in the toolbox. Basically, I don't think it's a standalone product, whereas Timeform kind of is. But I do think that what optics does, they do very well. I use it more of a screening tool to kind of get a first glance at a race to see, does the pace at first glance look contested? Who's the likely leader? Who's the likely closer? And then I still do my own analysis, but it kind of just helps me speed up the process, and it does sometimes uncover one speed horse who may look the same on paper but actually be significantly quicker than others, or one closer who's been deceptively quick for middle moves and things like that.
Brad Taylor saying Sol Cumin, who was on a local show this morning, said he heard Chad really likes his 7. Sol owns the 5. Could be him trying to get a better price. Who knows? So, well, Caleb, you got both of them. We got both of them covered.
Yep.
And Cesar Alvarez saying Buenos dias, muchachos. Get that money. Man, it's early for you, Caesar. It's like, what, 9:49 over there in the... I would barely be up on the West Coast. I just happened to have to get up early today to do some podcasts before. So
I think Jay had a question about the last race at Saratoga. I'm sure you probably haven't looked at that yet, Josh. Have you?
no.
Okay. Yeah. So I just finished the card not that long ago, and I do have that horse marked down. I do think that horse has a very real chance to get loose. So I definitely get where you're coming from. The horse is honestly bred to be better routing than he is sprinting. So I think it probably, says something to his credit that he actually does have a win going 6 furlongs. So I like the horse. I think the problem for me is that I think that 8 horse here is just so much the best, and you're not going to get a price. But I would encourage anybody to watch the replay of the last race for Catch That Party. This horse, I can't believe it's not noted in the running or in the notes for the comment. This horse comes out 12 lengths slow. I mean, jumps up at the start, completely whiffs the break for the 8 horse here, Catch That Party. Just an unbelievably bad break that is somehow totally missed in the running lines. The pace was slow. This horse puts in a monster run to just miss late. This horse is overwhelmingly likely to be your winner, I think. You're not going to get a price, but I think that is your winner. But I definitely am probably going to have a bet in this race trying to get the 5 maybe underneath. So maybe like an 8-5 exacta or something like an 8, 7-10 over 5 try, something like that.
I love the note that Optics has on this 8. It's just amazing.
What's
It
it say?
says, "Where did this effort come from?" I think it's a note for race 2 back, and it just says, "Where did this effort come from?" And then there's a red word that regress on there, and the horse ended up running back to the same fig. I don't know what V slog means. Maybe I haven't looked at the race, so I don't. Was it a real slow pace?
Pace
It's
was
kind of
slow,
slow,
very
but yeah,
slow.
maybe that's what it is. Man, I see a horse in here that I like, but I swear I bet this horse like every single time it's run, and that's the 10, Lord Flintshire. I feel like I always end up having this horse on my tickets, and just I think I needed him 2 back at Belmont, and he just lost by a nose, but I don't know. It looks like on paper that there might be a significant amount of pace here, but
In
I
the
don't know.
11,
Yeah,
I would be surprised, but is Optics showing something different?
that's Optics is showing it as red contention and a speed rate of
Well, yeah, but
46.
all the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 are all out.
Yeah, that's with them scratched.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, the 10, the 8, and the 7 all look to be in the right spot. I think the 7 might be too slow, but the 7 looks pretty good. The 1 looks okay, but the 1's also I think is going to figure into the early pace. I think you're right with the 8. The 8 looks like on Optics he's going to get the Garden Trip again, probably.
Yeah, I kind of wish Irad wasn't on, to be honest, because I think this horse wins with anybody. And, I think you get 4-1 if, Eric Cancell's up or, maybe better than that. But with Irad up, you can never get a price, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I think Sterling was talking about that the other day. Was just like it's just insane how much money IRAD's taking, and like it's like almost like it's just almost worth it just to bet against him just because it's he just takes money.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, meanwhile, you have Luis Saez riding at some unbelievable clip and getting sent off at crazy prices over and over. Manny Franco riding for Chad Brown at like 40% and getting dismissed. Like it creates value a lot of other places because of the IRAD underlay effect.
I know it. It does make me a little interested in the 7 just because of the way that Louis been riding. But
I hate last out maiden breakers, especially those that are coming from state bred into open company. But that was such a big run. I kind of think the 7 would be like a B for me if I was playing like ABC ticket. I mean, Barclay Tag is not a guy that wins first out of McGrath very much. So for this horse to make that kind of a run with the way Saez is riding, I mean, yeah, I think the 7 needs to improve, but could. But again, I think this 8 is just so much the best. But I think there could be value in the underneath plays here, maybe.
yeah. Now I'm not looking at Optics, but I'm just looking at the PPs. What about the 6 topic changer with Christophe Clement, Dylan Davis? Came off the pace last time in state bred maiden special weight. Coming right back.
Yeah. Horse looks fine. I mean, horse does fit in here.
Eight
Nothing
just
against
that
the
good.
horse. I mean, nothing against the horse. It's probably one of the shorter prices I'd be more inclined to not use, but I mean, it's not like the horse couldn't win for sure. I didn't see the level of improvement from first start to second start that I would like to have seen. I guess that's kind of my slight hang up with that 6.
Caesar saying 6 and 7, second time blinkers with cutback. I think the 6 is just cutting back. Is the 6 cutting back?
The 6
The
is
6 is cutting
back.
back. The 7 is not.
Yeah, but I mean, looks like a horse that would probably want every inch of ground he can get. So I'm not sure the cutback is something that I would think is a positive there. But I don't really sweat a 16th change at this distance either.
Looks like they're loading in the gate here. Race 3 at Monmouth.
So you got the 3, and who else, Josh?
The 1. Yeah.
So I really like a horse at Saratoga that lost to the 1 last out. Granted, it was on dirt. But I'd love to see a good race by the 1 here, even if he gets beat, just because that will make me feel a lot better about the horse I'm looking to bet at Saratoga. And also for your double, of course.
I just saw Mr. Callaway, Greg Callaway, Murphy. He has $2 to win on this 3 because I mentioned it last night when we were playing League. So
I would almost bet this that's horse at this price. Your 3, I think. And also the 7 at 3-1 feels a bit of an overlay as well.
that 4 caught a flyer out the gate. Let's see. The critical way is sitting just off. Oh, no, he's not. Where is he?
I think he's in between horses in like 5th, 4th, 5th. I think that's him in the like lime green cap.
Not today for the critical way, it looks like.
Doesn't look like it's. Looks like the 7 is gonna make a big run. How else you got the 1 and the 3? Where's
the 1 and the 3? Yeah.
Oh, he's in behind horses.
No, nothing.
Critical way is finding a little bit, but I don't think you're going to pass up the fence here.
Man. That's going to be just fucking boxcar double. That 4 was what?
He was 16-1, Sammy Camacho.
I got Inoel Beato aboard.
I think it was a late change.
Was it a late change? I was like, what the heck? Yeah, Sammy, where was that first race?
Yeah, that 4 is probably a tough one to come up with.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he had trouble the last time he faced off with a critical way, but he's been beaten by a couple of these pretty soundly. So it's tough to think. It's tough to even know that he would make the lead, much less be able to go all the way.
Yuck. On the plus side, at least the critical way sucked, and I was right there, but I had the wrong horses. Yep, Murphy saying never would have had it.
It's going to be a nice vertical playoffs, too, with 2 bombs running 1st and 3rd.
That's enough, Monmouth. Saratoga, race 1. Caleb and I are both on the 5 and the 7. Caleb, you said you got a little bit of the 9, or a little bit of who?
I got the 5 and the 7, and then basically A's, and I have the rest of the field as C's. My thinking is if it's not the 5 or the 7, I have no idea who it is. I'm not impressed with the 9, just given the way the Europeans have run. The 2 horse, Mike Maker, generally I kind of don't think he's excellent first time out with 2-year-olds. I think he's much better with 3-year-olds. I know he's been a little better lately with 2-year-olds, but I don't think he's a horse that I'm going to rush to bet. But it is Luis Saez, like we talked about, so he could show up. And then other than those 2, I think the rest of the field, I'm just kind of guessing. So yeah, for me, 5-7 or the longest price on the board. And we got a pick 6 mandatory at Woodbine today. Are you going to look at that at all, Josh?
I probably will. I haven't looked at it yet, so I don't really have anything.
I haven't even glanced at it, but I mean, just kind of like looking through, it seems like it's actually a nice. Like Woodbine sometimes gives some really poor quality racing, but this pick 6 looks good. I mean, they have about 3 allowance races. Like 2 maiden races, and then a grade 2. So, I mean, it looks – and the maidens are actually like classy maiden special weights, not like dumpster maidens. So, yeah, a nice stakes race too with a big field. So, it's a nice pick 6. I think it pays. And I think the grade 2 is also part of the cross country.
The cross country, yeah. You want to take a look at it? I know we haven't really capped it.
I mean, we can kind of talk about it live. I don't have anything prepared.
It's going to be race 8 here at Woodbine. It's part of the cross country. We got a couple minutes before Saratoga goes off, so it's a 7 furlong sprint on the turf. Grade 2. You got some nice horses in here. You got Chewing Gum. You got March to the Arch. Filo di Ariana, and who's the oh yeah Olympic runner, Aves Flatter, Cheryl Spite. There's some nice horses in here. It looks like Cheryl Spite's going to be your 3-1 favorite. Filo di Ariana is 4-1. Silent Poet at 8-1. Chewing Gum at 6-1, and then you got double digits on basically everybody else. Let me pull up the old pace
A
projector
couple of
here.
scratches, but 13, 8, 5, and 2 are all scratched.
13, 8, 5, and 2.
Yep. So that probably helps out Cheryl Spite, I would think, kind of bringing her in 4 posts. I mean, I think you got to start the race with her, but I mean, my personally for me, like, what are they doing with this horse? Like, he ran really good at Tampa. He ran really good in the Maker's Mark Mile to win at 50-1, as we all know and remember. The 51 morning line, which is laughably poor, as the horse went off at 9-1 and won. And then they put him on dirt, which why? This horse is so much better on the turf. What are you doing? And now they put him back on turf, but they turn him back to 7 furlongs. Like, I don't understand what they're trying to do with this horse. So it makes me a little gun shy. While I do think he's the best horse in the race, I mean, with the far outside post and the kind of nonsense they've been doing with spotting him in these races, like, whenever I see that, I do get a little bit anxious. It makes me feel like connections don't really know what to do, or they don't know what they have.
Tommy Massis will tell you that Roger Atfield is the best turf trainer in North America. I mean, I think he's a little tongue in cheek, obviously, but I know he loves Roger Atfield. Yeah, I mean, this 14 horse is a really nice horse. And I think the most impressive thing about that Maker's Mark Mile is that, I mean, he closed into a pretty slow pace there and won by a nose, beating Mason. So that was the race that I think that just like basically put all of us off of Smooth Like Straight, who's now going to be running in $100,000 stakes race tomorrow at Del Mar. But yeah, I mean, this is a nice horse. I might go elsewhere. I was really interested in this 13, so it's a shame that this horse scratched. This
I
was
love Baby's Flatter, specifically at 7 furlong, so I'm really bummed that she scratched too.
she won this race last year, or he won this race last year, and yeah, I mean, I don't know what the heck the morning line was 10-1. I don't know. The horse won a grade 2 end of last year. I don't know what was going on with that line, but Olympic Runner I feel like is a horse that I've tried to bet. I think that was that Town Cruise race, the Woodbine Mile last year. That was the one where we were like, oh, Town Cruise is going to win this one, wire to wire, right? Yeah. I actually was actually pretty interested in this 9 horse, Silent Poet. I don't know what happened last race, but I think that this might be your leader. Has gotten the lead at 7 furlongs, and it doesn't necessarily look like there's a ton of speed in this race. So maybe Justin Stein can get maybe a little loose on the lead here with this 9 horse. I just don't know. I mean, Cheryl Spite's going to be is going to be kind of a monster, I think, in this spot. March to the Arch, I feel like we've tried to bet to win at Woodbine like 9 million times, and we never get anywhere. But
Yeah, I think a lot of their runners who I think will take money, Cheryl Spite, March to the Arch, Chewing Gum, like, they're all runners that come from pretty far off pace. And a lot of them are also cutting back from like a mile or even further, a mile and a 16th, a mile and an eighth, back to 7. And I think you're right. I don't see a lot of pace in here. So I think your horse in Silent Poet does look really good. He kind of ran a baby Z pattern last out where he started off 3rd, kind of got shuffled back to 6th, put in a nice run, and then just, kind of flattened out a little bit. He's not as good as he used to be. I mean, he used to be a really nice horse up here, but I still think he's got a winning race in him in a field like this. So I do like Silent Poet in here for sure, especially with the pace angle. I think the 7 also looks interesting. Filo di Ariana, who clearly had some soundness issues, has struggled to stay on the racetrack, but finally put it all together last time out and just crushed a field wire to wire. Certainly tougher field here, and do need to see her repeat that synthetic form on the turf. It doesn't have a turf win in over 3 years, but or two. Oh, no, she has one last year. I stand corrected. But yeah, I mean, I think she's one that I'll be interested in as well. I may be inclined to actually play against Cheryl Spite, just given the run style, the post, and the kind of wonky spotting and placement of this horse. I think I'd take a shot against. I think they're going into the gate at Saratoga. Well, starting to.
Yeah, with these American horses, it'll try to take like another 20 minutes. Caesar asking if we watched the XBTV on the 2 here.
I did not.
I'm not. I don't remember the last time I watched a workout.
I do, like in a race like this, I may for like first time starters and whatnot, but yeah, I don't. Was there something noteworthy? I mean, did you see anything interesting out of that video work?
I think he might wait till after the race to let us know.
Yeah, I mean, they're about to go off.
Apparently, Chase really likes this 2 as well. So Chase has got this 2 on top. I see Ryder Dave basically just hammering this 2 as well. So, and they're off. And this 5's going to go right to the lead. Oh.
Track feels like it's playing pretty fair the last couple of days. I mean, I haven't noticed. It seemed like the inner turf was favoring closers for a while, but it seems like it's been pretty fair, and the dirt was pretty fair yesterday from what I could tell.
I think it kind of evened out because I thought earlier in the week that in the inner turf the speed was really good.
Yeah,
but that could have also just been Sias. It could have just be Sias is really good.
Yeah, he wired yesterday with that 4 horse in the second race at 20-1. Yeah. So I think I would call the track pretty fair at this point. The one thing I will say is I'm still slightly convinced that the Mellon turf with the sprint races, the turf sprints, it seems like they've been very much dominated by off the pace runners. I think they've only had like one wire to wire winner on the turf sprints, but they've also had a lot of quick paces, so it's tough to say.
This 5 is getting a real nice trip. I love this trip, like where there's 2 horses that kind of run off and you're right behind them.
Break well, let the 2 30-1s go. Sit the trip. Yeah. Very nice trip here with this 5. This 2 horse, a few people liked, looks to have a lot of run though.
And here comes the 7 too.
5, somewhere to go. The 7's also coming in with the run. We'll see if they can catch the 5 who got first jump. 5 looks like he's laboring a little bit, but
it's all right. He's got to float this 2 out wide because this 2's coming.
It's Sias' world, and we're all just living in it.
Wow. So no, Caesar, we did not watch the XBTV on the 2. Apparently we should have.
Looks like Ryder Dave hit for basically everything.
Yeah, hit the exact. He's got a double to the 5-7 next race. He singles in the pick 5. Ryan Howard, good morning. I know Ryan actually DM'd me yesterday. He was so excited, so excited about Del Mar starting up. So I know he said that he's just been super busy with work lately. That Del Mar coming finally is a nice reprieve he needed. And it is storming out here. Holy cow! So Caleb, you're live then, right? Because you use as a C.
Yeah, live, but I mean, pretty much worst case scenario for me is getting the lowest price. I guess the 9 was 5-1, but getting the lowest price of the C's that I bought the race. Least coverage, but least leverage with the shortest price of the C's. So worst outcome for me, which has been par for the course. But glad the few people are on the horse anyway.
Anyone bet the 2? We did not bet the 2. Well, Caleb kind of bet the 2. So I'm interested to see what you saw in the work because like I never watch them, but I also don't know what to look for. So I feel like it'd be useless for me to look at it. So I'm just reading our other chat here going on. Um, I thought Mark said he was going to try and jump in.
I thought he did too, but he might be having technology issues again.
This freaking guy. And for guys that didn't know, Brian had been kind of taking a break for personal reasons, and he's basically, he's just not able to commit to our stuff anymore. So what we're gonna kind of do is we're gonna not necessarily replace him, but I think we're gonna try and focus more on getting some guests on there. So, any of you guys ever want to jump on, let us know. We'll be glad to have you. So Caesar, if you ever want to hop on, or Ryan, I know you guys are around usually. Let us know. We would love to have you guys on here. Especially with like Del Mar. Like Caesar's a huge West Coast guy. I think Ryan is too. It just that's honestly that's kind of a blind spot for me. I mean, I know Caleb, you play a ton of Del Mar and you play Santa Anita, but it's been less kind to you as of late. But for me, like I just haven't. I don't know. I just never really put in the time. It seems like I really put more time in with Naira than anything else.
So I had to go.
Sam Houston,
Sam Houston, yeah.
Hopefully we get that figured out, because that's just oof.
Yeah, I mean, I went back and watched the work. Now I'm just curious from that 2-horse, and I am no workout clocker specialist by any stretch. Truth be told, I thought it looked pretty lousy. He beat a horse that was absolutely like struggle busing the way home, but they both stopped pretty bad. I mean, they came home relatively slow. I don't have a stopwatch, but it did not look fast. So it's hard for me to say that work would have put me on the horse, but maybe that's why I'm on a clocker.
I see Mark said bang, so I wonder if he hit anything.
I don't know. Mark hitting a 6-1 sounds unlikely.
It does. It sounds very unlikely. Brian saying, I'm surprised you both don't play the Kentucky circuit, CD, Ellis, etc. There Central Time. Caleb, do you want to extol your? I mean, okay, let's do this or that, Caleb. All right, we're gonna play this or that with you. All right, so, okay, we'll say Churchill Downs, or okay, and let me preface this: not this year, Churchill Downs. This is Churchill Downs with a working turf course. All right, so we're gonna throw this year out: Churchill Downs or Tampa Bay Downs.
Churchill Downs.
Okay, so let's go up a step: Churchill Downs or Monmouth Park.
Churchill.
Okay.
Monmouth and Tampa are basically the same thing.
Yeah, let's see. I can't use Aqueduct because you would pick Aqueduct 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Churchill Downs or Golden Gate Fields?
That's a hard one. Generally Churchill, but I do like the Golden Hour, so I probably put more money through Golden Gate just for the Golden Hour pick 4. But in general, like Churchill has better racing, so I'd probably say Churchill. But right. I don't hate Churchill that much. I mean, it's not like Tampa and Monmouth. Like, those are the circuits that Laurel, Delaware, those are the ones I can't touch. Churchill's tolerable. I just find it's a hard track for me to figure out. I think their dirt course is one of the wonkiest like dirt courses that just changes from race to race as far as like bias, or there's never a bias, and I just can't handicap worth a shit. But I just struggle with Churchill's main track.
Churchill Downs has also got. I'm going to say tied for the best announcer in racing currently. So I love Churchill Downs. I visited for the first time during racing this past year. We went to their new. It's like what the heck do they call it? The Home Stretch Club. So it's like a new area. I will tell you, Caleb, that if you and your pops ever go, it's probably not a good area just because it's not really like a table setting. It's more like an area with like open GA, but they do have like these like horseshoe tables, literally like right on the rail, which are kind of cool. But it's I don't know. The food was included. It had like a buffet. It was actually pretty good. Drinks were not included, which kind of hurt. But
Yeah, normally.
I somehow left with like 12 mint julep cups. I don't know how that happened, but
There you go.
yeah, no, it's a beautiful track though. It's really really nice. But it's a shame what's going on with that turf course and what they did to Arlington. But it is what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean Churchill, like I said, it's tolerable for me. It's just my bigger beef is with CDI than it is Churchill, the racetrack itself. And I do like to play some of the Midwest. I don't know if I'd call it the Kentucky circuit necessarily, but I played a ton of fairgrounds this year. I enjoyed that. In general, I like Oaklawn. I didn't play as much of it this year because I played more fairgrounds, but I like Oaklawn as well. So I do kind of play some of that Midwest. I like Sam Houston along with Josh. Um, well, can't really bet Sam Houston anymore, but you can't bet Texas anymore.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like my tracks are basically the marquee like Naira, and I'll play Santa Anita and Del Mar, just not as heavily as Naira, and then basically anything that runs at night.
I
Uh,
wish more tracks ran at night,
yeah,
especially like Thursday, Friday. Turfway, that's another Kentucky circuit that I do play quite a bit. I know you're a
uh,
big Turfway player. Canterbury, anything at night is nice.
yeah. Inside Speed, the dirt sprints for CD was pretty big there. Last 3 weeks they were open. Yeah, I mean, I think Churchill is definitely one of those bias tracks. You catch a bias there on the dirt. And you're golden. And then the turf course obviously was notoriously biased for outside closers, and we saw a bunch of really really good speed horses just completely falter there and then come back and run huge races. Most notably a Tributan. So I definitely think that there were some takeaways from the meet this year there, but. But yeah, Caleb. Anything else you want to add for today? I know it was kind of you know, I want to say 90% of the time we're going to talk about the early pick five at Saratoga more during this time. Touch a little bit more on Del Mar and stuff like that. But like, man, the early pick five just was not great today at Saratoga, and we also don't have Mark to bash. He says that he should be ready next week, but I'm going to hold my breath on that one. But
Yeah, I guess the only thing I'll add is my kind of best opinions on the Saratoga card are coming in races like 6 through 8. There's actually a price horse in each one of those races that I like a lot. So I'm going to have a pretty leveraged up pick 3. That's probably my biggest, stretch of solid opinions on the day. I'm not. We don't have to spend a ton of time talking about all 3 races, but I'll just kind of quickly in race 6. I'm kind of interested in this 2 horse. This is probably my weakest of the 3 races. The races I'm least confident in because it's a race full of first-time starters. There's some pretty big price tags in there. You got $1 million purchase horse going out for Chad Brown. You got a couple, big Asmussen horses, Bill Mott for, a few others. So I think the horse that's going to get just completely overlooked is this 2, who's a relatively small-time barn for JMS Stable for Michelle Nevin. But this is a horse that is by, Into Mischief, who gets, 16% debut winners. And the dam is By the Moon, who was an extremely fast filly and mare sprinter. She was a grade 1 winning sprinter on the dirt. She ran in the Breeders' Cup filly and mare sprint, and she won her first time out, her debut race. She was trained by Michelle Nevin, owned by JMS Stable. This is their homebred. I think this filly could be really nice, or this colt, excuse me, could be really nice. He ran a really nice work 2 back, shading 46 to post the bullet on July 9th, and then he kind of had a maintenance work after that. So I think this horse is going to get lost on the board given some of the flashier purchase prices and connections, but that's a horse that I do think is really interesting. Kind of moving into the 7th race, another race that I think is pretty open. I think the 8 looks really good in that race, Writer's Room. So I kind of mentioned earlier, I think that these turf sprints have been won from off the pace. And this is a race that seems to feel like it has an honest amount of pace signed onto it anyway. So this Writer's Room has a huge late kick. I mean, really put in a solid late run in that debut. Linda Rice is phenomenal second time out. She's on the poor side first time out. She almost always gives her runners their first start. So the fact this horse showed some ability, and yeah, I mean, was beaten 6 lengths, but if you look at the winner was beaten 6 3/4 lengths, but the winner was 6 lengths clear. So it was really just a neck back of some of the competition she finds today. So I think she makes a ton of sense second time out here. And then in the 8th race, this is the horse I was hoping Montauk Daddy would show up for. Is I like this 5, and this is a horse who does like Saratoga, has 2 wins from 4 starts at Saratoga here. And there's some nice horses in here, to be sure. I mean, highly respected, has done nothing wrong, really. Is a neck and a nose away from being undefeated. Todd Pletcher runs back, a last out maiden winner who posted a huge figure. So there's some fast horses in here, but Stage Left is one who was claimed for 25,000, 3 back, and the Cantor Machi barn, if I said that right, has been excellent with their claims lately and really moving horses up. If you watch the replay of the last race on Stage Left, a lot worse trouble than it seems. I mean, this horse was just so much the best. And, Cancel found all kinds of trouble trying to stay inside, tried to go outside, had to slam on the brakes, dove back to the rail, and still almost got there. I would say the waters are deeper here than what he faced in that optional 62 at Belmont. So it is a little bit of a question as to whether he's truly this good. But what's going to be a huge price, I'm willing to pay to find out. So I'm going to have a pick 3 using all 3 of those horses. And I'll sprinkle in some others and I'll structure it. But those are my 3 best opinions of the day.
Yeah, the note on Stage Left is trouble and grit. So showed some grit down the rail on finishing. So, but yeah, that's some good info there, Caleb. Yeah, I think that's going to do it for us. We're going to wrap up a little early here. I actually have I got to go get my car fixed, so I have to jump off a little early today. But yeah, catch us at wrong_lead on Twitter. YouTube.com/ontherwronglead, obviously, and buy a t-shirt, other merch at ontherwronglead.com. Obviously, if you guys have not yet, you can sign up for AIM Wager. Get a 100% deposit match on there. It's link.aimwager.com/OTWL. And then shout out, keep pounding. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for us. Wrapping up a little early. Hopefully, we'll have Mark here next week with being on track. This is like kind of the point, was he was going to be our man on the street, but hopefully he gets his IT stuff fixed. But for Mark, Caleb, and I'm Josh, we will catch you guys later.